Can you say hallelujah?
Hallelujah.
Can you say hallelujah?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. You may be seated. Today has been a day, an experience already. God is here. He met us here. And it's just truly been a blessing so far. My message today is a two-part message. And based on all of what has happened thus far, I'm going to do the first part of my message and I want to save the second part, if that's okay. All right, the first part, Deacon Karen, if you can break that for me. And Apostle, you're right. When you said that God was doing some things early in the morning, He's been doing some things early in the morning.
Amen.
And I will go ahead and give you the second part of my message, so when you leave here today, you can have those scriptures. And I want you to read it. It's a familiar story, but I want you to read that so when next Thursday comes around, and I'm going to bring it to you because I want this portion of the message to sit with you today. But then when I bring forth the second portion, you'll be able to see how those go together. But my title was, I Have Hope. I have hope. And out of that, I came from Jeremiah 29, verses 1 through 23. But my text scripture for the second portion was the whole, portion of 1 through 23, but really highlighting verses 10 through 14. So again, just hold on to that, I have hope. And Deacon Karen, if you can do one more thing for me real quick. I think it's enough in here. This afternoon now, but this afternoon you're going to have a little sweet aroma in your hand that you're going to hold, okay? And this was still part of my message, but if you can pass everyone just one coffee. And out of that, I received this book, and it was called The Coffee Bean. And this was a book that I got around Christmas time from one of my leaders at work. And he wanted me to go back and just read the book. And in the book, it gave, life lessons. And in that lesson, I began to look at it and begin to apply it. Some of the things, and I was like, oh God. And Apostle, when I said this morning about to agree, the Lord said, give a demonstration. Because I was just going to talk about it, but he said, no, give them a demonstration. Give them something visual that they can see.
Amen.
Just as well as I was able to get a visual, and it had a visual in here. But this particular book talked about, it gave 3 examples. And the reason why I wanted to spend time on this today is just by what happened here this morning. I believe some people got delivered. I believe some people were set free. I believe some hearts were healed. I believe that some people have some new hope on things or situations that have been bothering them. So I really wanted to spend time because this book talks about that hope. So in that, we know whenever we leave this place and we go back out, the enemy is ready to attack and kind of take away from us what we just received here today. There could be something that could be waiting for us when we get back out, some news we weren't expecting, something that could happen, someone cut us off on the highway and just have us angry.
Oh my goodness.
Have us upset and have us, not necessarily forget, but for that moment, we may, not remember exactly what just transpired here today. So I want to leave you with a hope. So with that, he gave 3 examples in this book. And in this, also, when I found the scripture, I want to turn to Romans chapter 2. And I'm going to start at Romans chapter 12, start at verse 1, and it's going to be 1 and 2. And mine reads a little bit different, but it says, therefore I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. How many of you that there are times when things surrounding us are not as as easy as we would want them to be? No matter how hard we try, no matter how hard we put an effort in it, the circumstances or the things that surround us still are not changing. prime example. I could want for the President of the United States to be someone totally different. But even if I drive to DC and tell him it's time for you to go, is it going to happen? For one, I get stopped right before I get to the gate and try to pull him out to say, hey, there could be some things that we want to change. But no matter how hard we work at it, it still doesn't change. But depending on the situation and the surroundings and how we physically react to them can have that lasting effect on us. And when I say that in this book, it talks about three things. And I want you to use your mind to talk about a carrot. So we all know what a carrot looks like. We know that a carrot has a hard exterior, it's hard. So I want you to use it, your body, you as a person is a carrot, okay? Then think about a boiling pot of hot water. The hot water is everything that surrounds us right now. Everything, all the things that are going on in the world, in our life. If you put that carrot in that boiling pot of hot water, what happens to the carrot eventually?
It softens.
It softens. It softens. So depending on how you react to the situation, the goal is not to be like the carrot. Because when you become soft to the surroundings that are around you and not stand and hold true to what the Word of God tells you to do, you begin to be affected by those things. Yes. When you're soft, anything anyone says can affect you. Amen. Anything that goes on around you can pressure you, can make you just react, can have you act all sorts of types of ways because you're in that state where you're soft, you're impressionable. You see someone do something, anybody can come tell you that the sky is green and you're going to believe that the sky is green because you're in that state of mind of being soft, of being vulnerable. So here, like you said, when the carrot stays in that hot water, which is the situations in life, you become soft. You become mushy. You easily broken. You easily smushed up. You easily can be affected by the situations that are around you. Second thing that he made mention in there is about an egg. Now, this is a hard-boiled egg. Now, I'm not going to crack it because it's going to smell like egg. But I just want to show you that this is a hard-boiled egg. So, again, imagine the egg, you put it in a hot boiling water, which is all the things that surrounds us that we're affected by day. What happens to the egg? It gets hard. I was an egg at one point in time in my life where my heart was hardened by different situations that have affected me. No matter what anybody said or anybody tried to do and try to pray for me, my heart was still hardened towards some people and certain things. What people tried to say to me didn't enter in because my shield was protected. I was protecting myself from the past hurt, from the past things that people said. I tried to go on about my life. I read the word, but then I didn't allow the word to enter in. I just went about my day, tried to, go on and not focus, but I still was hard towards what people was trying to get me to see, to be delivered, to be set free. All the things that just happened here today. That's why I wanted to spend time on this because, again, we may be soft right now. We may be at a point where we got it all together, but as soon as we walk out, again, something can be said or done that will cause us to either go back to the mushiness of the carrot or harden our heart or our exterior based off whatever the situation is. And the last one is the one that I really want to spend time on today. That's why you have the coffee bean. When you have a pot of hot water, and we know we got instant coffee, we know you put it in there, you can shake it up, and you can spread it around and now you have your coffee. But if you take a coffee bean and you boil it in the hot water long enough, what does it turn into?
Coffee.
It turns into coffee. So a bean in hot water eventually, and they take a while because it's got to break down. It has to go through the process of being broken before it can transform their environment.
Amen.
The coffee bean in the hot situations, yourself. Look at yourself as a coffee bean when you leave here today. When I tell you that this book really allowed me to really have a different outlook, not saying that I had a hard exterior, but again, it made me look, I'm not going to walk around and tell everybody I'm a coffee bean. But it made me realize that that coffee bean in hot water was able to transform the situation. With the carrot being in the water, it still was a carrot.
Right.
It was broken down, it was mushy,
It
the
was
water
a
still
carrot.
stayed clear,
Amen.
but it was a carrot. You put the egg in there,
Yeah.
the exterior hardened. The situations around them was still causing,
Yes.
was still going on. Nothing was changed. But the person, the egg got hard. Nobody could pour into it.
Yeah.
But the coffee bean sat there long enough, prayed, fast,
Yeah.
trusted,
Yeah.
built their faith, allowed someone to speak to them, allowed someone to allow them. They didn't rush. They didn't rush through the process. Coffee bean stayed there until it was time for it to turn the situation.
My
So
God.
again, you put that in there, and again, it turned the whole environment around it.
Yes.
Now, I didn't say it changed the pot.
That's
The
right.
pot being the world. It didn't change the pot. Pot was still the same. We are in the world, but we're not of it.
Amen.
So we still can change the situations around us if we allow what the Word of God tells us to do day in and day out throughout our life to make sure that our minds are transformed. We don't want to walk out and be as the carrot easily affected by what someone says. Not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone is going to want to talk to you. Not everyone is want to be your friend. But guess what? By the life that you live in front of different people, it can change that whole atmosphere. Have you ever been into a place where the whole atmosphere shifted when you walked in?
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a conversation where they stopped talking what they were talking about when you came?
Yes.
along? It wasn't the fact that they would probably say, oh, here they go, they're going to be nosy. It was the fact that I believe they felt like, okay, you might need to just be quiet. Or I may not need to say that around that person. Or I may need to act like that around that person. That's why we can still go on about our life, about our day, by being children of the Most High God, because it doesn't matter. I know, and that's when you will see in Jeremiah, I know the plans that He has.
Yes.
He knows the plans He has for us. And it doesn't mean that it's going to automatically pull us out of every situation, but what it does, it shows us how we're supposed to live when we're in the midst of those situations. So I wanted to really encourage you today to keep this coffee bean. You don't have to walk around with it in your pocket. You can put it somewhere in your kitchen, but keep it. Because in this book, it talked about how he carried that life lesson with him for a while. But then it got to a point which it may happen, is when you may forget about the lesson that you were taught. So you may forget about being able to transform your situation, because something can come at you. And what talking about in his book, he lost his job. His wife were just going back and forth through certain things. His kids were acting out. He couldn't provide like he used to. He wanted to give it up, but all through that time, once he learned his life lesson, he was telling everybody about it. How is that for us? We can be holy now, but until something happens to us, it can definitely knock us out. But what it says here, he remembered what he was taught. So even I think about as the church, they'll talk, they may become adults, they may stray. That's why we still have to fight and push to instill values and teach them the Word of God. Because once they go, they may go, I will. It was brought to, I did that. But then I was able to say, you know what, Lord, no, I want to have a changed heart. So again, when you walk out here today and everything that you have just received here, be determined. Look at your coffee bean and say, you know what, I'm going to transform this situation. I'm not going to allow this situation to get me. I'm not going to harden my heart like the egg. I want to ensure that I constantly be able to remember the things that have been taught, that have been prayed for me. People have interceded for us. And we can remember that, we can hold true to that. So today, walk away knowing you have hope.
Amen.
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 Also, don't forget now, read Jeremiah. We may already go it and read it, because I'll be able to take this point and tie back to it during the second part of this season.
Amen.
But I just thank God for being able to really sit, and I've been able to kind of share that with others. Because it's how easily we forget about something that's so, that we have every day, that God will allow you to think about how easy your situation can be transformed if you just do what His Word tells us to
Thank
do.
you, Jesus.
Amen. Amen. And if you want to read the book, they have it online, but it's called The Coffee Bean. It's by John Gordon and Damon West. But again, I just thank God for today because I know there's some things that have happened here today. And I just encourage all of us to hold true to that. Hold true. Hold true. It's a cruel world out here. We see it every day. But we can know that we have the hope in Christ Jesus. Amen. And at this time, I know we've had, our prayer time, and we've really just enjoyed the Lord being here with us today. But if there's anyone, we never want to walk away and still give anyone an opportunity. They may not, or someone to come in agreement